I was on YouTube looking for inspirations for my next video and I kept seeing the same thumbnail over and over again. It was on different channels with different topics, but it all had the same look. It was that glossy, futuristic ChatGPT image 2.0 look. Okay, these images. Now, a few of these are obviously they're not obvious that they're ChatGPT image, but now based on the channel itself in previous thumbnails, look at this one right here. ChatGPT image, this one too. You could see from the design style, like ChatGPT images, they have this particular look to them. Look at, like these aren't as clear and obvious, and I'm gonna show you how you can make thumbnails that look like more like these rather than like these. Those ones too. I mean, some of them look pretty decent, but come on. Super obvious. The weird part is, I don't think using AI for thumbnails is the problem. I use AI for thumbnails. The issue is when your thumbnails look so obviously AI that the viewer starts questioning everything else before they even click. If the thumbnail, it looks low effort, the viewer starts thinking, was the video low effort? 2, was the script AI? Are the claims even real? And you lose them before you've even said a word. So in this video, I'm going to show you the manual workflow, 5 steps, and the most important one isn't the generation, it's what you do before you touch the AI. The beginner way is usually something like this. You take your video title, you take a sentence about the video, usually the title by itself, you paste into ChatGPT and you say, make me a YouTube thumbnail. And to be fair, when you're first starting, that's already better than staring at a blank Canva file for an hour. And I don't want to make it sound like this is useless. It's not useless. If you're brand new and you just need to publish, I would rather you make something than make nothing. But this is where the problem starts. The output, it usually looks polished, but polished in the way that every other thumbnail looks polished. The face is a little bit too smooth, the background is a little too glossy, and the text, it feels like it came from the same machine. The whole thing has this off-brand cereal feeling to it. You know when you're at the grocery store and you see that cereal box that is obviously trying to be the real cereal? It's sort of that type of feeling. It has the same colors with the general mascot, same idea, and the same promise. But I mean, your brain after a while, it picks up on the pattern. It says, nah, that's definitely the fake one. And I don't know what their sales look like. Maybe some of them do fine, but if the real brand is sitting right there, most people are going to pick the one that feels official. Your video is the same thing. Your thumbnail is the box. If the box feels like a cheap imitation, the viewer assumes the thing inside might be a cheap imitation too. It all comes down to one idea. Don't reinvent the wheel. Instead, reinvent the hubcap. What you want to do instead is, look right here, we have a wheel. There was this saying that we had back when I was a content director, don't reinvent the wheel. If you change the wheel into a square, the car doesn't work anymore. The phrase, it came in twofold, okay? So don't reinvent the wheel. Instead, what you want to do is reinvent the hubcap. This is all just wheels. But look, it's what's inside of the wheel is the hubcap. Look at these hubcaps. They all make the wheel look different. Every single wheel, it looks different because the hubcap looks different, okay? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Reinvent the hubcap instead. Packaging is most of YouTube. If people don't click, you don't get to build trust later. You never even get the chance. So here are the 5 steps. The first thing I would do is collect references. If you're a small creator, go look at the biggest creators in your space. Not necessarily so you can copy them pixel for pixel, use them as references, because the format is already proven by them. And if you're already big in your space, then you probably don't want to only look sideways. You can look at other industries as well. When I was in the e-commerce, we looked at finance, trading, crypto, golfing, random spaces where the audience behavior was different, but the packaging pattern were useful. Grab at least 3 references. Then ask yourself a very simple question. Why did I want to click this? Was it the face, the object, the promise, the contrast? Was it because I already trusted the creator? This matters because if you don't know why the reference works, AI is just going to copy the surface. And look, I'm gonna be upfront here. I don't memorize prompts or I save prompts. So instead, here, use this prompt right here, copy and paste this, or screenshot it. You are analyzing a YouTube thumbnail to extract its format. the reproducible. Screenshot this first one, screenshot this second one, and there we are. Now go ahead and analyze the YouTube thumbnails that we've just downloaded. Take the thumbnails, put them onto a HTML, and break them down in plain English in a very short and concise manner, no more than 20 words. And give each thumbnail its own HTML slide so that we can see it. This format, it does well because there's giant number behind the head, 1950 a week, subject is centered, giant white dollar figure, partially occluded by head, blueprint table foreground, and dark studio. SMMA, giant acronym behind the head, it's the same format as the last one, except this one doesn't have a table. Giant teal 3-letter acronym behind head, clean mint background, 0 props. It's just a very simple and easy to look at thumbnail. The next thing you need is a set of images of yourself. It can be a profile photo, it can be a regular picture. It doesn't have to be perfect. Of course, the better the original photo is, your reference photo, the better the output is going to be. But I don't want this to become the excuse, okay? So here's what you do. You're gonna go back into your ChatGPT screen. So I have this very old YouTube thumbnail with me. You can see it's very low low resolution. And I use this prompt. Turn this image into a professional studio grade image to make it look like it was shot in a professional photo studio. And now we have this image, a lot sharper. It even gave me a button up. Like, this is how it looks now. And we can create and alternate the variations. And if you want to change the pose, all you have to do is change the expression to be neutral. You do that for each of them here. So we go from here all the way to here. This one looks a lot more neutral, although you can see it's starting to alternate our facial features. So I would always create a new chat, use this initial one, go into Claude, ChatGPT, have it create for you a prompt for different poses, and send in the prompts. Once you're done, it'll look like this. You have all of these different poses right here, here, here. These are the ones that I currently use on my channel. You have all your different poses, okay? That way you will have a variety. ChatGPT image for $20 a month, it gives you all this. So you can create so many images with it. You can start with whatever you have. Take that photo and use AI to turn into 10 different studio style poses. And this is usually the part that a lot of creators, they avoid because nobody wants to stop and take thumbnail photos. It's not the funnest thing to do. And I get it, I hate doing that too. But once you have a small personal photo set, you stop needing to solve the problem every single time you publish. You have your face ready, you have your reaction ready, and then the thumbnail process, it gets a lot easier. And here's a pro tip. You can use ChatGPT Image 2.0 for this, and you can use Nano Banana for iterations if you want cheaper rounds. The tool is less important than the fact that you're building a reusable photo set. Once you have the references and your photo set, don't jump straight into generation. Have Claude or ChatGPT analyze the format first. Drop in your reference thumbnails and ask it to break them down. Where's the face? What's the main object? How much text is there? What's the emotional promise? What's the viewer supposed to understand in half a second? Then ask it to interview you on why you like the thumbnails. I know that sounds weird, but do it anyways. The why part is the most important thing in all of this. Because the AI, it can describe what is on the screen, but it can't know why you care unless you tell it. Once it has that analysis, ask it to turn that into a prompt for your thumbnail. The prompt should keep the format, swap in your photo, and adapt the idea to your video. This creates what I call the stage 0 thumbnail. Stage 0, it means that this is the beginning and not the final. If you're in a rush, you can use it. I've done that before, but if you want the thumbnail to feel like it belongs to your channel, this is where the real work it starts. So simple prompt, we went ahead and just said, swap the character in the black shirt with the character in the dress shirt. And we have this image. This image looks pretty good already, but we're not gonna stop there because we want to, let's say we want to change this, the number in the background, to $500 a week. And what else while it's loading? Let's see, we want to change the blueprint into maybe a map. Rather than a blueprint, we want it to be a map. A map that has 3 stages. Okay, $500 a week right there. Now let's put in this prompt. But you can, let me see, I'm just making sure as the thumbnails are getting generated, it is changing the images a little bit. So you have to be very wary of that. It's actually a lot better if you make all the prompts all in one. You can iterate on it one at a time, but at the very end, go back to this initial one and just change everything all at once. This is just for you to see the process, but typically I will look through the thumbnails, see what can be changed, and change it from there. And this is one of the things that I have to warn you about, is sometimes it will change you back for some weird reason, but here's the map that's changed. You can get an idea of what it will look like. But it's giving me some ChatGPT-esque type of look again. So be wary of that as well. Let's change the background. I'm basically just showing you the capabilities of image generation and how to do it with some taste. So we went from this thumbnail to here, to here, to here, and all the way to here. You can, of course, I would spend a little bit more time reprompting some of this. I mean, this is pretty good. It doesn't look like it's, I mean, apart from the blueprint itself. The blueprint is what gives it away in this scenario. But apart from the blueprint itself, it doesn't look like a direct one-to-one replica. I mean, let's pair these up right next to each other. Same format, but different hubcap. Reinvent the hubcap, guys. Once the stage 0 thumbnail exists, change about 20%, not 80%, only 20. I say that loosely, okay? It's not like I'm measuring pixels here. The point is that you don't want to destroy the format that made the reference work. Change the elements that make it yours, the expression, the objects, headlines, background details, your brand colors even, if you have them, the specific concept from your video. This is where a lot of AI thumbnails, they go wrong. They either stay too close to the raw AI output, so they look generic, or they change everything and lose the reason the format worked. The middle is where the thumbnail starts feeling real. You keep the wheel, you change the hubcap. From there, iterate, ask for suggestions, give feedback, swap the objects, change the expressions, make the text less generic. Pull more of your actual video idea into the image. This is also where Nano Banana can make sense if you're doing a lot of cheap iteration rounds. I keep asking one thing. Does this feel like it's mine? If it doesn't feel like it's mine, then I'm just a copycat with a better render. And being a copycat, like earlier, off-brand cereal, is not the worst thing when you're learning. I actually think references are how you learn. But at some point, if you're trying to build a real channel or a real business, the thumbnails needs to carry your taste. And that's the difference. There's also a business reason to do this. A thumbnail designer might be $25, between $25 and $75, sometimes way more depending on the person. If you're making 3 thumbnails per video and 2 videos a week, that's 6 thumbnails a week. At $20 each, that's about $480 a month. At $75 each, you're around $1,800 a month. And money is only one part. The bigger cost is the knowledge leaves. When I was working as a content director, designers would leave, and then we would have to teach the next person how the channel thought about thumbnails, what styles we liked, what the audience clicked, what the brand could get away with, and what felt too fake. All of that, it lived in people's heads. And this is where the math, it starts working for solo creators. You keep your taste in the process, you just finally have a system that keeps it from walking out the door with that last designer. If one of my buddies came up to me and he was really proud of his first AI thumbnail, I wouldn't destroy him for it. I'd probably say something like, "Good job, you made the first one, go ahead and publish it." Because that's usually the first battle. The barrier to entry has never been lower. Now, if he came back a month later and he asked me, "My videos, they aren't doing well, I don't know why people aren't clicking," then I would show him this video. I would show him that the thumbnail screams AI slop, and he stopped at the first output. That's typically the problem. He took the first thing that the AI gave him and he shipped it. He never put himself into it. This is the part I would have him fix. The honest pushback is that AI still can't feel. It can follow steps, systems, it can guess what a good thumbnail it looks like because it's seen a lot of patterns. but it doesn't have lived experience. It doesn't know why you like one reference more than another. It doesn't know why one expression it feels cringe and another it feels believable. It doesn't know your audience the way that you do. It can guess, and sometimes the guess is good, but at the end of the day, it's still a guess. You have to teach it what you like, what feels fake, what your channel should feel like. AI, it handles more of the repeatable process. The human, it keeps adding the judgment. That's the part that doesn't get replaced. And for this last demo, since you made it all the way this far, I'm gonna show you a demo of me using my YouTube thumbnail skill in order to find and automatically create a YouTube thumbnail without me doing anything, okay? I'm just gonna let it run. It's already running in the background, and I'll be right back after it finishes. And so here's the final result. AI made this one, I made this one. This one's pretty decent. Of course, there's some changes that I would make, like for example, this one, start SMMA. We would just change it to, oh, okay, I see. $0, start SMMA. I thought I meant something else. I didn't read it properly. Interesting. Okay, I see. I kind of see the vision now. You can see the schematics is a lot cleaner as well compared to this one. And this one just looks like a game board for some reason. But yeah, that is what AI made. This is with no changes at all. This is one shot. And if you're interested in that entire workflow, let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next video. Peace. If you want the automated version of this, comment below and I'll make the next video on how to set up the full system. That's the version where the AI thumbnail designer can gather references, analyze formats, create stage 0 options, and help you iterate without doing every step manually. And if for some reason you don't want to build it yourself, there's a free call link below. We can talk through how to implement this kind of system into your business. But whatever you do next, stop shipping the first AI thumbnail. Make the thing that looks like it belongs to you.